Let me introduce Sheeba, my friend and co-presenter here in this topic. Sheeba is a transformation and an agile coach with Cognizant, and she has over 2 decades of experience in the industry and very passionate about training, coaching, mentoring. And now she's one of the best subject matter experts I've seen in one of the ALM tools, Jira, uh, Azure DevOps, name it any tool. She's the go-to person within Cognizant. And yes, that's about Sheeba.
Thank you so much, Ranjith. It's really exciting to be partnering with you in this session. To introduce Ranjith, he is an enterprise agile coach from NatWest with over 25 plus years of IT experience. And he has very big list of certifications to his credit, which we cannot enlist here in this duration. Lots of agile, safe, lean portfolio management, lot of them. Every week I see LinkedIn posts from Ranjit on upskilling, which is really a good skill that I would have to learn from him. And he actually coaches a lot of people. He's a certified personal agility coach as well. So really good to be here with Ranjit on this session. Okay, so let me share the screen so that we can start. Okay, let me know if the screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay, great. So today our topic is the leadership reset, human-centered and Banny ready. Now, before going into the topic, just thought of showing you all some visuals, whether this is the future of leadership in the AI world, just for us to ponder a while. So you can see this picture where a professor is talking about how the students, the training or enablement for the students have to change in the AI world. Another humorous or hypothetical situation where AI itself is going to a human and then sharing their troubles, right? So, is this how the leadership would be in the AI world? What do you think, Ranjit?
Yes, leadership is evolving. Leadership is at a pivot, at a what you call at a transformation phase now, because uh, what you say, the world is changing. World is changing at a pace that we have not envisioned or have not conceived before, right? That's the pace at which the world is changing. So yes, we can't rule out what we are seeing here. Right now, it's more in a lighter note, but tomorrow we can't rule out what we see here as well. All right. So let's look at a scenario which we'll role play here between Shiba and myself, right? That's a typical traditional leadership style, right? What we typically see in the IT industry. So scenario is there's an escalation, right? I don't want to read it out. It says escalation from the customer side. And typically how we have experienced leaders, some of the leaders reacting to those situations, right? So Shiba, we have a situation emerging at the customer side. Let's get onto a call. We just need to address it immediately.
Okay, Ranjit, thanks for looping me in. Yeah.
So Vijay has just called me and has raised a serious concern. Customer is extremely unhappy with the quality of our deliverables. Quite a few production issues are popping up in the latest release, and they are also concerned with our ability to meet the commitments for the future releases. And we can't afford because our competitors are knocking the door, and we are at a stage where the contract renewal is also up for renewal due in next few months. So we can't afford to have such issues popping up at this point in time. We need to address it immediately.
Okay, Ranjit, yeah, I understand your concern, but we also need to hear from the team, right? We also need to know what are their impediments and try to support them in that rather than just going into them hardcore, right?
We don't have time for that, Sheeba. We have literally no time. We can't take chance. We have given them enough space and time, but I don't think the real Agile is working here. We can't. We have to micromanage a bit. We have to have daily status call. I would like to see the status report on a daily basis. How much defects are we fixing? How much defects are coming in QA? How much is the velocity per team member? We need to track at that level going forward.
Okay, I would say that's not the preferred way. It's better to give autonomy to the people, but then if you insist, then yeah, of course, we could go ahead with that.
Yeah, send me the daily stand-up invite. I will join. I'll try to join as much as possible, and also set up another call on a daily basis, evening after you are connected with the team. Let's start looking at the status, track it on a daily basis.
Okay, fine, if that's what you want. Okay, so that was a role play of a scenario. And you would have seen how aggressive Ranjit was. And so, what are some of your observations or reflections on the patterns and behaviors when we were discussing this? You can put in the chat. You can also share from your thought process how this transpired to be. Have you also experienced these kind of scenarios in your engagements?
I think it's quite
I am
common.
not able to see the chat, so Ranjit.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
coming up.
I think it's quite common. I think many people expect there's something similar, the management folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything in the chat?
Yes, reactive approach.
Or you could
Sanjay.
unmute. Okay.
You can unmute and speak as well. Okay, this is going to be a human-to-human interaction. No tools. We are focusing only on human-to-human interaction.
Yeah, all are allowed to unmute. Yeah, all are allowed to unmute your people.
Okay, looks like there are a few people who have agreed to it, and I think, and yeah, this is based on our experience, and I've experienced similar bosses, similar managers, and I wouldn't fault. I would not want to judge that they're wrong or right here, but that's their approach, right? So in a leadership, typically we see two type of characteristics. Okay, one is called core behavior, and one is the desired behavior. So core is your innate nature, right? Which will be mostly subsided within you. It will not come out until the situation is adverse, right? Or situation is not very comfortable for you, which is outside your comfort zone. Till that point, you will have a behavior, leadership, or in any your behavior will be the preferred behavior, which you will consciously project. But when things go out of hand, right? That is when we typically see, that is when true leadership comes. That is when you get to know the true nature of a leader or a individual, right? Where situation is out of their control or out of their comfort, then the innate nature comes out, which is the core behavior. And many times that is when they move into, when an escalation happens, the leaders move into more a micromanagement and top-down controlling, right? And many are not even aware that's happening, right? They are moving into a behavior which is not conducive for in a team scenario. Yes, Sheeba.
Yeah. Thank you, Ranjit. Yeah, thank you. So, leadership challenges. So, Ranjit spoke about the core behavior and preferred behavior. So, what are some of the leadership challenges that you think, some of the leadership challenges, especially in this current complex world?
You can type it or
Yeah.
unmute yourself and talk.
Hi Ranjit and Sheeba. So it has happened in my previous projects. The product owner was from this product company, and they did not get to the agile mindset at all. So whatever she wanted, that has to happen. Even if we try to drive in the these many stories we have to pick up in this sprint, she was not up to it. And no incidents also were coming up. And when I saw that no, the stories are not getting delivered, but the incidents are getting delivered, obviously there was a uh, drip in the predictability, and management started asking, why not predictability? Why is my team not giving up? No, to the living up to the predictability. Then I couldn't have a much answer on that, because the product owner had a much more voice on that, and she was not interested in metrics. She believed that the art did not have metrics, but to the top management, they collected all the metrics. They were looking into all velocity. They were equating capacity to velocity and everything. So I really had a very bad time there. Ultimately, I tried to educate her, know that everything will be transparent, visible, and we can in turn, like, instead of overcommitting, it looked like as though we were overcommitting, because they had already taken up incidents which can actually put in some buffer, or wherein support kind of story, where we will allocate some story points for that. But it did not work out. So I found that as a very bossy nature there, trying not to, that mindset of hers was not changing. That was
Thank you,
one.
Sugandhi. Yeah, thank you. And I'm sure all of you, right, at some point in your career, at some point in your journey as a Scrum Master, Agile coach, or even in any other role, you would have experienced similar leaders, right? It's yeah.
Yeah.
One hand
Thank you.
raised.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can speak up. I know there was a hand raised.
Yeah, I think it's Charan.
Yeah.
Charan, do you want to go ahead?
Oh, yes. Thanks, Ranjit. One of the leadership challenges we have seen from the agile implementation aspect, our own functional head in one of the in one of the past experiences, he was not keen on changing or getting into the agile way of working, and there was so much of insecurity that we could see. The delivery was very keen on seeking our consultation or on, okay, now tell us how should we improve. But our own functional champs were not very encouraging. Yeah, one of the situations that we have seen.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can have a list of such scenarios. Everybody will have their own stories to say here. Even when I reflect back, right, I'm also not different. Right? I had my own, when I was in certain leadership roles in my early days, I had, right, some of my behavior may have reflected what we are talking here. It's an honest admission, right? We all evolved. So yes, let's look at some of the challenges now.
Yeah, thank you all for your inputs. Yeah, and so we have listed some of the challenges here, which we collated from what we have experienced as well. As you mentioned, stakeholder management, the dependency management. When we have a lot of teams, how do we manage the dependency across? And especially in today's global delivery scenario, cultural differences are very important, right? When you work with other countries, we need to understand the cultural nuances and then take care of that. That also leads to communication overhead. Then, of course, market competition is also there for the organization from a business perspective. How to synchronize the priorities, and to add to all of this, we have expectations of AI usage also now, right? So, how it is actually a positive thing which is emerging, as we saw in all the sessions earlier as well. But from a leadership standpoint, how do we ensure that we are using it in an optimal way to support the teams rather than burdening them, or how do we make teams to use it? Again, that's again a mindset shift, right? So many changes, or so many challenges in this current world. So let's hear from Ranjit on how we can navigate this complex world.
Yes. So leadership, right? As I was reflecting, all of us have leadership. It's innate behavior that we all are born with. Okay, leadership is not something, yes, we enhance, we evolve as a leader, but there are everybody has a leadership skills within themselves. Okay. Which you may or may not be aware, but it comes out in certain circumstances, situations. Yesterday, like last week, I was reading a LinkedIn post by a good friend of mine, and an agile coach and a leadership coach. So he had written about, while in very early in his career, while he was just trying to establish himself as a team member, he became like he had a child born, and that fatherhood, actually how that brought out the leadership in him, right? Some of the qualities that you bring in as a parent, right? Patience, perseverance, right? Presence, right? All those qualities were like coming out, right? So it's all about going in and understanding our leadership qualities within ourselves, right? So right now, when we look at from a corporate in a standpoint, leadership, most of the leaders probably are trying to navigate this very complex world. Yeah, we call it VUCA world. VUCA is now evolving into Barney world. I don't know how many have heard about Barney, but then we are evolving into from VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and I think ambiguous world. Now we are moving into brittle. All systems are very brittle, right? No matter what, how stable you might find it, anxious, right? Anxious, non-linear. There is no right. Your small change could have a ripple effect across the system or even outside, right? So non-linear, right? The changes are non-linear and incomprehensible, very difficult to even understand, right? And that's the world we are living. And we come across such situation day to day, right? Early it used to happen once in a while, right? Now with the post-COVID, right? I always look at the COVID. Last 5 years have changed tremendous changes in our personal leadership and also in an organization setup, right? Things have changed. And with the evolution of AI, as just along with the COVID, right? As we are coming out of COVID, AI came in, right? If you look back last 10 years, the human species itself has evolved drastically, right? Adapted. We started to adapt with the COVID, right? No matter what, that's our first test of adaptability, right? Now with the AI coming in, we have to adapt, right? Everyone, right? It's not limited to any professionals or in working scenarios, right? AI is impacting all aspects of life, right? So, but most of the leaders, though they have adapted to other situation, when it comes to work, they try to use the old map, trying to navigate through the old maps, right? Now they are at this what you call inflection point where which path they need to take. They can still go with their old way of leadership, leading the teams, leading people, right? You can still use your old way, which we sort of role played, right? Not all the leaders, some leaders are more empathetic, but eventually some of those characters persist in most of the leaders, right? Some might be very bossy, as somebody has put bossy, or like very aggressive in nature. Some may be very soft, but eventually what the expectation is same. I have experienced very soft people, but no, I need to get this report. I can say it in different way, right? I need to get it, right? But the overall the style is the same. The leadership traits remains the same, right? So now we will look at based on our experience, we have come out with a framework which we think can help leaders navigate in this Barney world, right? So some of the traits that we need to have is sensing, right? Sense making of the information around us, adapt, and empower, right? So it's all like you sense the information around you, adapt based on what you are sensing, and then empower the team and individuals. Not just direction, one dimensional. It has to be bidirectional or multidimensional. The leadership is not going to be one dimensional going forward. Yeah, Shiva. So what's the new leadership compass?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ranjit. So from what we have seen, right, we would have understood that, yeah, we cannot just follow the old process-oriented leadership style. We'll have to move into a new age leadership style for this current age. So what is a process oriented leadership style? That's what we saw, right? Even in the role play, the dominant leadership style where we have top down decision making, very aggressive, micromanaging, one size fits all approach, command and control, all that. So from that, we'll have to move into a human oriented leadership, right? So even though we have AI and all the latest and greatest technologies in the world, this human centric leadership is very important. And that's what we heard across the sessions also. So we need to have an emerging leadership style where we can build trust, integrity, and very importantly, the self awareness, right? Self awareness is very important for any leader. They need to understand what are their pros and cons, and also give autonomy to the people. Like some of you were mentioning some scenarios where the leaders were demanding something. So if we have a decentralized decision making, these kind of issues would not be coming, right? And the leaders would not become bottlenecks for us. And have clear vision and focus on the performance, be customer centric, value centric, and be ready to take risk. Yeah, if you have to adopt some AI model, AI automation, AI agent, be ready to take that risk. You may not know whether it will work, what are the implications, but just try with it, right? So those kind of things. And be purpose driven, data driven, take data driven decisions, and be humble, authentic, empathetic, all of that. So basically, we have to move from cop to a coach, right? Not being a cop with a rod and all that, but be a coach, empowering teams. And this is all a mindset shift that would need to happen.
Yes. So we spoke about the three traits, right? Sensing, adapting, and coach and empowering, right? So how do we sense, right? Sense making. Sense making basically is using the data around, right? You make sense out of the data. Don't rush into decisions. Don't rush into what you call perception building based on what you are seeing around, right? Look at the data, and this is where a lot of the tools that we discussed in this last 2 days, right? AI tools can help tremendously expedite your sense making ability, right? So we have the data is not an issue. We are in fact that's a bigger challenge is we are surrounded with the enormous amount of data, be it at work or at life, right? How do you make sense out of it? So use that ability and capabilities around us to make sense of it. That's called sense making. Adaptive intelligence, again, it is to be intelligently adapt to the situation, right? That is where you adjust the leadership style. You have to adapt the leadership style. You cannot have one size fits all leadership style in all the scenarios, right? You as a leadership know when to take a control, a little bit more control, when to take a step back. Not all scenarios need you to take control, or not all scenarios need you to stay back, right? So you have to use that intelligence, adaptive intelligence, and coaching, and eventually coach the team, right? Because in a bunny world, you are not able to control the changes that's going to happen by yourself, right? You have to empower the team. Team has to be empowered and coached. Coaching is basically help, is empowering, partnering with the team and helping them able to resolve their own issues, challenges, and empower them to take decisions. Okay, so decision, especially decision making, is one thing that has to be empowered on the teams. You cannot try to keep all the decision, right? That's what you see in a typical leaders in our industry, right? What you can see is that it's mostly top-down decisions, right? And most of the decisions are not data-driven as well, right? So this is what we discussed: sense making, adaptive intelligence, and coaching, right? So adaptive intelligence, when to lead and when to take a step back. Sense making, navigating uncertainty using the data, right? Make sense of the data. And the tools can be an enabler here. You don't rely completely on the tool, but you make sense out of the data, and tools can enable you. The AI tools can tremendously help you expedite your sense making capabilities. Okay, and coaching. Yes, Sheeba can go.
Yes. So
Did we lose Sheeba?
Yeah. I think we lose her.
that we thought about.
Yeah.
That works for us, right? The pace. Sorry.
Sheeba, we lost you for the last 10 seconds, okay? We couldn't hear you. If you want to just go back.
Okay. Is it okay now?
It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay now.
Is it
It's
okay?
now.
Okay. So I was just telling that we
Perfect.
reflected on our experiences so far, and we came up with a framework, which is one of the frameworks. There are a lot of other frameworks, but we came up with this PACE framework, which we adapted for our engagements, and it works, right? So it's about pausing, adapting, coaching, and then evolving. So just pause, because we heard that it's an anxious world. Good to take a pause before you take any action forward. Don't take any kind of harsh decisions, okay, in the moment of spur, right? So just pause, reflect, and then assess the situation first. Then think of adapting. So Ranjit spoke about adaptive intelligence, right? So how can we use the intelligence strategies to these unpredictable situations, especially AI, automation, and all that? How can we adapt all that for solving these situations? And then coach. So it's not that you have to take responsibility and you have to own all the solutions and all that, right? See how you can empower and guide others, so that they can also take some decisions. So coach them in that, and then evolve. So it's not a one time activity, right? We have to also evolve our leadership, because this will not work over one night, right? So we have to evolve. So this is kind of a human centered antidote to the chaos of the Banny world that we thought about. Now, all this was theory. So how do we apply this in a real time situation? So I would like to share a story. In one of our engagement, this was an insurance customer that we had. It was a very complex program. Obviously, most of the programs are very complex, right? And we had geographically dispersed teams. And this was at a time when we were not very familiar with remote working and all that. It was kind of before COVID. And we needed people with varied skill set, okay? Because the technology needs were really high, expectations were there for that. So that's the reason we had to have a geographically dispersed team. So there were people like 2 people in Kolkata, 4 people in Kochi, 5 in Chennai, 2 in Pune, and also in US we had the client teams and our on-site partners. Then we had the vendor product partners in China, Russia. So it was kind of a mixed team with different time zones. And a lot of stakeholders, right? And it was 250 plus team members were spread across. And the most important thing I felt was, yeah, of course, the delivery timelines, everything was there. And to add to this, right, there was this low engagement and motivation levels, because you can imagine 250 plus people spread across everywhere. How to bring in that one team spirit to them and improve their engagement levels? So what did we do? So as we discussed, first we took a pause, okay, because
Shiva, your voice is
everything
breaking.
was
Sorry to interrupt. Shiva, one
kind
thing
of
you
in
can.
chaos when we started this. Everybody were executing in silos, all the in action. Okay, so we took a pause, took a step back.
Yeah.
Shiva,
Your voice is breaking a bit. Okay.
Maybe I'll stop my video for some time.
That will help. Yeah.
Okay, thank you then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's better now. So I don't know till where you heard.
You can start from this. You can start from pause, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I was telling, right, it was all in chaos. So we took a pause, we took a step back, and then we thought, okay, let's analyze what is the current situation, right? So we took the help of the agile coaches, the product owners, the program managers, all of us came together and thought of, okay, what could be done. So we rolled out surveys. So surveys were of two kinds. So one was on the team happiness survey we did, and the other was on the process maturity side. Okay. So we did this to understand the pulse of the team. Okay, what are the things that they would like to improve, what is going well, and also to understand what are the process improvements that could be done. And based on this, we adapted. We brought out some strategies based on the feedback that we received. One was to have data driven decision making. So we insisted everyone to have the data in the tool, work through the tool, so that across teams across the globe, there will be one source of truth to get the data. So anybody, any leadership, anyone wants to have the data, they will just have the dashboards in Jira and they can pull it out. And the second thing was to have the program governance structure. So we had a PO council, we had a program management council who worked along with the customers and with the teams. And we had a team structure also formed. Like we had, this was for digitizing a web portal for insurance. So we had a sales portal team. So functionally, we divided the team so that they can work together and bring in value. And also to improve the team motivation level, we had some rewarding mechanisms, and also we brought in this virtual coffee connect, okay, which really helped to understand the teams better. Because when we are working in remote, right, we, of course, we have a lot of calls for discussing our work and all that, but informal connect is really very, very important for the teams. So we just took out 1 hour just for informal connect, talking about our hobbies, passion, what do we do outside work. So those kind of discussions and some lightweight games online, which really brought in the trust factor between the members of the team, and then it was easier for them to work together. Now, after implementing or adapting these strategies, we cannot just expect them to do everything on their own, right? So we needed to coach them. So we had coaches from on-site and offshore working together with the teams, and enabling them on the processes, on the tools, role-based, like what the QA leads are supposed to do, what the engineers were supposed to do, what the PO was supposed to do, make it clear what are the roles and responsibilities, and formulate the ways of working. We had a lot of playbooks and wiki pages to support them. And last but not the least, evolving is again important. So this continuous learning, it has to sustain, right? It's not just for 1 week they do this and stop it. So we had to sustain it, because this was a 12-month engagement that we had to do. So we kept learning with communities of practice. We had periodic maturity check, innovation drives, hackathons, all of that to encourage teams to perform better. Okay, so based on all these actions, what were the outcomes that we achieved, right? So we had outcomes from business value delivery perspective and also from sustainable performance. So business value delivery based, the business OKR. So they wanted to roll it out to like 5 countries and regions, which happened within the 12-month period. This also in turn led to customer satisfaction, good net promoter scores, and also cost reduction, because this was actually digitizing their applications, right? So it resulted in cost reduction as well. So it was value to the business. And from the team perspective, there was great improvement in productivity, because the team was happier. They were able to do things faster, because there was more innovation, continuous improvements, and all that. Attrition reduced, and the team happiness index improved. Okay, so this was the outcome that we saw from the engagement. Any thoughts or questions? We'll just take a short pause before we proceed.
How frequently did you do those, gamification exercises? You said about 1 hour, but is it like
Yeah.
in 2 weeks or?
It was monthly ones initially. We started with just monthly ones. And also, along with our retrospectives, we included a small segment for icebreakers when the retrospective started.
Okay, thank you.
So why don't we try this out, right? So we would just want to not just imparting knowledge, right? It's only a potential power, right? We would like to send you in breakouts. Just take there is no tools that you need to fill in. Just have human to human interaction, discuss a scenario. You could take the same thing that we role played. If not, there's something similar that you are experiencing or have experienced, and then see how you could look at PACE, right? How do you look at the PACE framework, and how could you, or you means you might have seen a leader, how you would have reacted using PACE framework in that scenario. Right, so we will have, we have 10 more minutes, so maybe 7 minutes breakout.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can take a screenshot of this.
Yeah.
So that you can discuss based on these questions. Yeah.
So I have divided into 5 different rooms.
I think that should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. I
Should
hope
be
all
fine.
have taken the screenshots. Just opening the breakout rooms. Okay.
There are some chat. Would you suggest to review success measures on each PI?
Usually we did that on a quarterly basis because it was quarterly OKRs, but it will be really good if you can have in the PI included. Yes. So the breakouts are now on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just check the rooms. If they're facing any issue. There is a serious amount of discussion is going on in YouTube.
That's good. So we wanted to keep it very light, considering the time of the
Yeah,
day.
but absolutely, the topic is very heavy. They are highly interested, and I saw rooms. There are real case scenarios because the topic itself is
A
such.
lot of AI, right, discussions, and it's
But you have touched upon very good topic, mostly on business value delivery, the matrices which you have put. That is excellent. I mean, many will follow, but still, what is the impact of it, and impact assessment of the following these matrices. Even that is the next scope, I guess. I don't know how you look those matrices and how it has impacted you in your organization, but because this is what many are tracking now. So shall we close these rooms because we have one more session at 9:15.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
They'll be cussing, but I have no option.
Absolutely.
So they'll have 1 minute.
Yeah, 1
They'll
minute.
prepare. Fifteen seconds.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. Actually, breakout session was there, na? Again, we got message return to main session. So here,
Yeah.
Breakout.
Yeah, we have closed the breakout room, keeping time constant in view.
okay.
Any
Hope-
observation in interest of time and positive, right? Anybody would like to share?
Yeah, from
What
group
they
five,
discussed, something that
what we discussed, I would like to quickly narrate. We thought that if something is going bad or wrong, we have, as a leader, we need to prepare some data points and project it before the team and take team's inputs on how we can improvise there. And if you do this exercise, the team will take that with accountability and they take the ownership for the future. So otherwise, if the leader directs them on what is the solution or what they need to do down the line, they still think it's like a top-down approach. They do the same old way. So instead of that, we can involve the team in decision making and seek their inputs and try that. So team will improvise based on their inputs because they own that.
Excellent. So always think about pace your leadership. Okay, pace your leadership. So if you keep that in mind, probably you will know what steps to follow.
and also we should means work effectively and efficiently. Means whether whatever we have knowledge acquired, so that we have to apply means in means efficient manner, so that that product will be scalable.
Excellent.
Also, actually, I think we'll have to also ensure we have some psychological surveys being made with the team, right? So that will give us a better understanding over the team viewpoints, right? So that will help to understand individuals as well also. So
Absolutely.
that, yeah.
And it becomes even more significant in the age we are working as. We might get the team or the leadership, everybody, we might get swayed under the technology, right? The world is becoming more technology centric in the last few years, right? We are talking more and more only about AI. The people, the human aspect, the human connection, right? That is missing. And adding to it, the hybrid way of working has already created that distinction, right? So people are, if you go into like a daily stand-up, how many of you are, if you are a scrum master or a team member, how many of you come on camera on a daily stand-up if you are working from home? Even if you repeatedly ask, the team doesn't come, right? It has become like that becomes the norm, right? Nobody is on camera. Really, that connection, human connection, is getting expanded, right? So this is where a leader has to come into play. And this is one framework, one of the framework. Okay, feedback you could think of it. You could have your own customized version of how you would like to use it. There's no, but use your pause, adapt, and coach. Right, that's the mantra that we would like to share here. Okay, so
So
we
one
look
thing,
at,
Ranjit.
yes,
So
please.
Ranjit, one thing. So you guys have come up with this framework, right? So is this standardized framework, or we are just saying for our
This
implementation?
is
We just
based on our experience, right? What has worked.
Mhm.
Okay, so we took a pause. So, and then we adapted to the situation, coaching the team and evolving, right? So we thought,
Okay, so it's internal to us actually. It will not
our
be
framework,
standardized.
but it's a good way to remember also pacing your leadership. Okay, so that's why we coined it as pace.
Okay, so it's your own actually, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we looked at the Bani world. How do we navigate in the Bani world? And the PACE framework is a tool helping can help you navigate in this very complex and incomprehensible world, right? The Bani world, right? Adaptive intelligence, sense making. Sense making is very important, right? Sense about things that is happening. Try to make the sense before you react to it. And coaching. Coaching is going to be the way of leadership. Yes, with that, we conclude our presentation, and I hope we were able to add some value to your leadership journey. And we would like to hear from you, your feedback. And at the same time, also, happy to stay connected. We'll share our LinkedIn profiles. We would be happy to hear from you, or you share your experience or anything, right? We are here to collaborate as a community.
So Ranjit, one quick question. This adaptive intelligence you said actually, right? So what is, I think, exact actually crux actually in this? What actually you are intending to say in
Intelligent
that?
adaptation, adapt intelligently, not artificially adapt intelligently, be human intelligence. You look at pausing, and then also the data will help you make some intelligent decisions, right? So adaptive intelligence means when you know when to lead in certain way as opposed to when you are in a multicultural environment, you may not, certain style may not work in all the culture, right? So you have to adapt. So in certain culture, it is very straightforward, open culture, which is called low context culture versus high context culture. So you have to know your sense.
So
That's the
as per
reason.
situation, we'll have to work.
Exactly.
You're saying.
Right now, this is how I work. This is how I want things to be done. That won't work in the current moment.
Okay. Okay. Case basis. Thanks, Ranjit.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, please.
Thanks a lot, Ranjit.
And
so yeah,
we would like to take this opportunity to thank SSAG and Product Practitioners Group as well for giving us this forum. Sheeba.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. We really enjoyed interacting with all of you. So thank you.
So can you please unshare, Ranjit?
Oh, yeah.
Share this too. That's a great talk actually, because there are multiple areas which you touched upon. So it was highly engaging what I say. So there is one small token of appreciation from our end. It's a certification, small certificate. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes. So
troubling me a bit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.